He was 15 years old. He was a sophomore at Johnson High School in Hays County. He was murdered by a drug dealer selling counterfeit Percocet pills. The pill he took contained 8 milligrams of fentanyl, which is 4 times the lethal dose. There was no Percocet in the pill.
And that's Texas resident Brandon Dunn, who lost his son to a fentanyl poisoning last year. Dunn testified yesterday before the House Judiciary Committee, which held its first hearing on the border crisis. The hearing featured emotional testimony about border security as well as fentanyl.
Many of the lawmakers argued their cases about what they believe to be lax policies by the Biden administration and poor leadership of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
Joining us now to discuss, former acting secretary for the Department of Homeland Security, Chad Wolf. Chad, let me bring up something. It's interesting that they're talking about that story. I was talking to Jason Jones a little earlier. He's our reporter on the border. And he was telling me he thought that what would actually get Washington's attention is not the people coming across the border, but the drugs coming across the border, because they are killing more and more people every day.
I think that's a good point, although I would say that they've been killing Americans for the past 2 years. And again, we don't see really any change in policy from this administration. So it's probably going to be a combination of both the illegal individuals coming across the border and the folks that are being trafficked every single day, as well as the illegal narcotics. But both of those issues, I would say, stem from one source, and those are the Mexican cartels. And so until we get serious about combating the cartels,
right,
they should be public enemy number one. They're killing over 100,000 Americans every single year. And so we've got to get serious about this issue. And if you want to address the fentanyl crisis, and we all do, is you've got to diminish the power of the cartels. They are spending more, or they're making more and more money every single week off of this human trafficking, and they're able to peddle and push more drugs across that border.
Articles of impeachment filed against Alejandro Mayorkas just yesterday. But do you think removing Alejandro Mayorkas from that position would make any changes, or do you think it's simply the Biden administration that needs to change?
Well, it certainly could. Look, at the end of the day, these are the policies of the Biden administration. How much of them are coming from White House staff and the president himself is a little bit unclear. But look, the DHS secretary has a duty to the American people to implement policies and do things that protect American communities. And when he decides to put the interest of illegal aliens first on the backs of the American people, I think he does a disservice. So I understand the criticism. I understand the frustration that House Republicans have with him. He continues to lie to the American people and to members of Congress, and he needs to be held accountable to that and really explain some of his statements. And I think that's what you're going to see, Hurley, probably in the next several weeks and months to come. And if there are not good explanations, or he does not recant some of the statements that he has made, if he does not apologize to Border Patrol agents for not giving them the tools and talking about how they're whipping migrants when we know that's not the case, right, there's a number of things he needs to recant over the last 2 years. And if he doesn't do that, then I think they have a strong case.
Want to get your reaction to testimony we heard in that testimony and get your reaction. Here's part of it.
These numbers make clear that the Biden administration does not have operational control of the border. Month after month after month, we have set records for migrants coming into the country.
When I look at public safety, national security, and humanitarian on our southern border, this is the largest crime scene in this country.
The Border Patrol can't possibly catch all of the fentanyl at the ports of entry, nor catch the fentanyl between the ports of entry.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, all of those statements are correct. I mean, they just don't have the resources on the border because they're in Border Patrol facilities processing more and more migrants every single day. In the month of December, when you have 250,000 apprehensions and you have another 70,000 gotaways, that's over 300,000 individuals cross that border in one 31-day period. That is astronomically high, and you're not going to be able to do that national security mission of protecting the American people and protecting those communities when you're at those numbers. There's just no other way around it. The Biden administration and the secretary can talk all they want about parole programs and other things they put in place. The numbers don't lie. They cannot protect the border, and you cannot secure the border when you're dealing with that many people. And their policies continue to attract those many folks month after month after month.
All right, Chad Wolf, thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah.